And go. All right, as promised, almost Happy New Year, deep dish pizza, Chicago style. The recipe in the video that I promised. We're going to do this today. Want a little bit of context. Anybody can do this. This is not something that is hard, although it is complex, and it takes a little bit of time, but man, it's worth every minute invested in this. So I'm going to show you how to make deep dish today, but first, I want to give you a little bit of context on pizza styles, right? This is not New York style pizza. If you like thin crust, this is not for you. If you enjoy red sauce on cardboard, this is definitely not for you. This is a real pizza pie. You hear that term pie? We're going to make a pie today. We're not making a pan pizza. We're not making a thin crust. This ain't New York style. This is deep dish. So bring your appetite. This requires forks and knives, okay? So first, just want to show you some of the tools of the trade here, some of the ingredients. It's going to be a little bit different, and we're not going to follow doctrine or dogma. We're making something that tastes good. We're not making something that follows a specific set of rules, okay? So we're going to break some rules because we're going to make the best tasting deep dish we can. All right, here we go. First of all, you need flour, of course. You're going to need cornmeal. I like the organic, mostly because I'm not going to make 20 deep dishes in a year, so I get a smaller bag, higher quality, and it's not going to expire on me before I make the next set of deep dish. Okay, next on the list is corn oil. Gotta have it. That's what gives that dough that unique Chicago style. And then, of course, gonna need yeast. You can use active. You can use rapid rise. It's just gonna affect how you handle the ingredients and the measurements. And then, of course, you're gonna need some sugar. There is no salt in a deep dish dough. Okay. Now, some will tell you that there's no cornmeal either. That's true for the authentic deep dishes. Do you want authentic and get it wrong because they don't tell you what the real recipe is, or you want it to taste good? Me, I want it to taste good, and I don't know the exact measurements of the corn oil versus the flour. So we're gonna put some cornmeal in there. We're gonna cheat and guarantee it's gonna taste excellent. Okay, now for the sauce. You're not buying pizza sauce. You're buying this and only this San Marzano, product of Italy, peeled tomatoes. If it doesn't say certified product of Italy, San Marzano, you ain't using it because it ain't gonna work on deep dish. So don't even try going cheap. Don't go buying any of this ragu BS pizza sauce from Catalina. That stuff's garbage. You might as well just buy a puree from 99-cent store and dump it in a bowl because that's how bad it's gonna taste. It's gotta say San Marzano. Pay the extra $2. It's gonna be amazing. All right, and then as far as the other ingredients, for the sauce, you can put in a little bit of sugar. I do because a lot of these things are processed or cooked down, or you're going to cook it down, you're going to lose some of the sugar. So I add a little bit of sugar in there. I'll give you a list of all the ingredients, all the specific measurements, okay? So don't worry about that. As far as cheese, I had cheese out here, Kraft mozzarella, Lucerne provolone. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is you need mozzarella cheese. And me, I like a blend of provolone because it gives it that extra special salty taste. So I blend in provolone and mozzarella. You can do what you want. Now, I'm going to break another rule here. We use Romano. Unfortunately, I only had a 3 blend today. So on top, it's going to be Parmesan, Romano, and Asiago. But close enough. You get that Romano taste. Also, for seasoning, love the cracked red pepper. That's a no-brainer. Like a little spicy, give it a little kick. Now, for the sausage, I'm using a prepackaged sausage. I don't eat pork. I like beef. Believe it or not, pork sausage and beef sausage taste identical if you know what the spices are. I happen to know what the spices are. But we're going to break doctrine one more time. Everyone will tell you that knows Chicago deep dish that there is no fennel in their sausage. Well, I don't live in Chicago. I live in California. So the sausage out here is garbage. So I have to cheat and make it taste like Chicago-style sausage. So, since I'm not using pork and I'm not Polish and I don't have a direct line in FedEx overnight of some Chicago style, we're putting in fennel. Grind it up, it tastes great. You don't grind it up and you cook it, still tastes great. You put fennel in your sausage, it's going to taste excellent, and it's going to taste like Chicago deep dish style, the sausage that they put in there. Like I said, I'm in California, so I don't have access to the good meat. I get the garbage that they give us out here, so I know how to make it good. All right, those are the ingredients. Of course, we're going to butter the pan, and we're going to put butter in the crust too. Forgot about that. We put butter in the dough. Then last but not least, the 2 tools. I use a bread machine because quite frankly, it's easier and it's more consistent than my hands. And don't worry, we'll be using our hands when we put it in. And then my secret, the pan. What's so special about this pan? This thing's genius. Not only is it great for making cakes, it's great for deep dish, but check this out. See this little thing here? All right, let me show you how we can cheat. When we're done cooking, baking, pop this, okay? And the bottom falls out. So now, guaranteed, you ain't gonna mess up trying to scoop out or get the dough stuck, or you have a problem because it's gonna end up right on here and you're gonna be able to see it. And the first photo that you see in my post, you're gonna see one of my deep dishes sitting on this. So this is a nice little trick, makes my life easy. None of my deep dish pizzas end up ruined. How you gonna argue with that? Okay, so the dough, it requires 1.5 cups of warm water. All right, here's the problem. I don't know what warm is and I don't have a temperature gauge. What I do know is that about 16, 17 seconds of 1/2 cup of water makes it warm so I can activate the yeast. Then I'll go back and take the other cup, put it in for about 30 seconds, warm that up. So here's what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cheat. Use 1/2 cup warm water right now, okay? And then 4.5 teaspoons of the yeast. Okay, so I'm just pouring it into a bowl. I'll show you here in a second. 2, 3, 4.5. All right, so 1/2 cup warm water, about 16, 17 seconds, 4.5 teaspoons of yeast, and mixing it up. Make sure it's all in there, right? Sorry, I'm not good at videos all by myself. Putting it in warm water. Too cold, ain't gonna activate. Too hot, kills the yeast. Learned that the hard way when making Hoska at Christmas time. Wasted about an hour trying to activate my yeast. I'm definitely not the expert at this, okay? So, you don't want it to clump up. What you want it to is to proof. It's the proofing phase. Just get a nice little ball out of this here. So, give this some time to activate. And I'll let you know in about 10 minutes if I was successful. If not, I'll admit that I had to replay the video and restart recording again and had to redo it. Chances are high that I'm gonna have to redo it. Okay, we've activated the yeast, or close enough. Now it's time to put in all of the remaining liquids. Like I told you, we still have 1 cup of the warm water already into the dough maker. It's basically just an instant bread machine. Now we're gonna take the corn oil and we're gonna dump that in as well. And that is 1/2 cup. So all the liquids go into the bread machine, into the dough maker first. 3 teaspoons melted butter. It's going to give it that nice buttery, flaky crust, right? All right, and then we need to do 4 tablespoons of olive oil. And that's tablespoons, not teaspoons. One, 2, 3, and 4. All right. All right. Water's in. Corn oil's in. Olive oil's in. Butter's in. All your liquids are done. Now it's time to do the dry ingredients. 4 cups of flour. Then we're going to put in the cup of cornmeal. And you don't have to mix it all together right now because the bread maker is going to do that for you. This is what it's going to look like right now. I'm going to make a little bit more even here at the top. And we also want to put in some sugar. All right. Now it's time to make the depression. And we're going to pour in the yeast mixture. Sorry for all the background noise. Now we're just going to put it on number 8, which is dough. Hit start, walk away, hour and a half. Bread machine does all the work. It's going to rise in there because it's going to be a nice warm temperature. You have to do nothing. See you in 90 minutes. Okay, next we're going to prep the sausage. Now I told you that I use a mixed kind of the style that you'd use maybe to make sausage patties out of. So I just take it out of the wrapper here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just smush it down right into the pan, real thin, right? So I'm just going to smush that down as thin as I can get it, because the goal here is to pre-cook it. Basically, I'm heating it and changing the color of it to make it look, I'll call it medium to medium rare. And then we're going to take it out, we're going to drain it, get as much of the grease off as we can, because we don't want to ruin the pizza with too much grease on the inside once it goes into the oven baking. Because we're going to be in the oven once the deep dish is completely prepared. It's going to be in there for like 30 to 40 plus minutes. Okay, so last thing you want to do is have overcooked sausage. You also don't want to eat undercooked sausage either. So, should look like that, smushed down completely. And then we're going to cheat. We're going to cheat and we are going to use fennel. Okay, I'll show you here in a second. Since I got dirty hands and I don't have a cameraman, I'll show you exactly what this looks like, how much fennel I used. And of course, I'm going to mix it all around, but just give you a feel. That's about how much fennel. And then I just kind of smush it around, make sure it's even as best as I can get it. You know, in a perfect world, you have one of those grinders, you grind up the fennel seed, and you really, really mix it in properly. I think that would really do it, but don't have that. Last but not least, I do like to put just a tiny bit of cracked red pepper, because if you didn't have spicy, this will make it a little spicy. I just put a tiny, tiny amount, very little. It'll cook in, and it's going to taste nice. So here you go. That's what everything looks like. I'm going to cook this down. It's just going to be a few minutes on each side. We're going to pull it off, drain it, and one more of our toppings is prepped. Okay, why don't you take a walk with me here, and I'll show you the dough. While the sausage is kind of pre-cooking, kind of prepping that. I'll show you how great this bread machine is on what they call number 8, the dough mode. Saves me a lot of work, chops down all the prep and total time to bake and enjoy pretty much in half. That's an hour and a half process that the machine's going to take care of for me. Okay, 3 things to update you on. 1, we've prepped the sausage. I want to give you a feel for what that looks like. So that's about half cooked, maybe 60% of the way. I've done a light chop, I'll call it chunky chop on the San Marzano tomatoes. We're not going to use all that sauce. We're going to drain most of it. We're just going to use a little bit of that juice that's at the bottom. And then I've already pulled out of the bread machine, because I'm just going to let it self-rise, you know, sitting out underneath a towel. I pulled it out of the bread machine about 20 minutes into the kneading process, and let me just show you that. And it's already risen an inch in every single direction, so it's going quick. Did you notice the color? It was a little bit more golden. That's the cornmeal and the corn oil in there. So far it smells and looks great. Cheese is shredded, ready to go. The provolone was in slices, so that's even easier. So we'll put the shred down first and then the provolone. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Right now the ingredients are all prepped. We're going to let this dough rise. Then we'll get into the greased pans. Okay, say hi, Zach.
Hi.
How's it going, buddy? All right, we got to the dough. This is Zach's favorite part, because we're getting ready to put the cheese in. All right, let's go first and make sure we preheat this oven, okay? So come on over here. Zach's going to preheat the oven for us. All right, Zach, here's what we're going to do. Going to hit bake right there. Hit bake.
This one?
Yep. All right, now put 4, 2, and 5. Hit start.
This one?
Yep. And turn the oven light on as well.
This one?
No, oven light right there.
That one?
Yes. All right, that way we can see our oven. got it on. We know it's already got the fan blowing because the foil's moving all around there. We're going to start preheating our oven. All right, Zach, come on over. Here we go. Now we're going to have some fun. Now, just like any pizza, we took the dough, about, I would say 50% of the dough we made into one of the largest of these pans. 60% I've learned is a little bit too much, so I got to adjust that recipe. Okay, but Zach already put it down, right? And we just started smushing it, right? Just like normal. Same old, nothing different, nothing new. Okay?
Like this.
But now here's going to be the trick. I'm going to show Zach half. I'm going to show you how easy this is, okay? I'm going to take my hands like this, okay? And I'm just going to pull it up the sides, right?
Oh, that's
So I'm
easy.
pulling it up the sides. That's easy, but you got to take your time, okay? Yeah, pull it up the sides. Okay, but not too much.
Not too much because you might
You don't
destroy
want
the
to,
pizza.
exactly. You don't want to destroy the pizza. Okay, Zach, thank you. And what that's going to do is, I want to make sure there's no holes on the bottom, of course. I want to make sure that there's no holes. We're going to spread this out all the way to the edges. But the goal
There, I
is,
see a hole.
yep, thank you.
Hole,
See,
hole.
fix it up
Hole,
nice.
hole.
But the goal here is to make sure that it comes up the side so it can hold all of that cheese. Because we're putting about a half a pound of cheese
Because
in.
if we don't hold the
All that sausage.
if we don't hold the cheese, it'll all fall off like the burrito.
Yeah, like the lady with the burrito in the car that blew up. Yeah, we'll tell you that story later. And so we're bringing it up the sides just like this. Okay, see? And we're going to make sure that it's nice and even. And then we'll be ready to put in the next set of ingredients, okay?
Yeah. There's still video.
Okay, Zach, here we go. The video's back on. Now, you're going to start taking the mozzarella first, and you're going to put that all around, okay? So start taking the mozzarella and filling it in there, okay? Take the mozzarella. Yep, there you go. That's good. Just like this. Watch. See? Just kind of around in a nice little circle like that. Perfect. Yeah, eat a little, dump a little. There we go. I'm going to keep going.
Eat a little. Dumbo.
We want to get a nice liberal amount of cheese on there.
We should have spread it out.
Remember, we still got the provolone, so we don't want to put too much. Okay? Don't eat. Hey. You're eating too much of the cheese, okay? You're eating too much of the cheese. Okay, now as you can see, we've already got the mozzarella in. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take the slices of provolone, and we're going to put those down, start in the middle, and then we're going to start to make a circle all the way
Like a
around.
pepperoni pizza.
Yep, except it's with provolone, but we want to make sure you don't go up the edges. We're not making Detroit style, so keep it just like that. There you go.
What's Detroit style?
Detroit style, that would be like Little Caesars. You know the square pizza at Little Caesars they call deep?
Yeah.
That's actually Detroit style because they put Munster cheese in there too.
Oh.
So that was a great question that you asked. So keep putting.
You love monster cheese.
Yeah, there we go. See how we did that? So this is over a half a pound of cheese that we put in here. We got to get that right there. Cover all that up right there.
Hey,
There we
wait!
go.
I found a spot right here.
Yes, you did. All right, put that right there.
There's one more.
And I think we're going to take this. We're going to make sure it's nice and even. We're going to chop that in half. Put one in the middle, one on the side, and now you see all those layers of cheese in there.
Here, let me show the kids it. So this is provolone.
There you go. Perfect. Okay, we are back. What we're going to do now is we're going to put that fennel sausage that we made. I busted it up into little pieces because the goal is to have the cheese kind of be able to bubble up through the different sausage, okay? So this is about pre-cooked. It is, let's call it, I would say 60% of the way done, okay? And I'm just dumping this in, just kind of putting it together. Zach's being a little silly here in the video. I'm going to show you, though, what we're going to be looking at in a second here once all the sausage is in, okay? We're putting a lot of sausage in here. This is over a half a pound of sausage. At the end of the day, deep dish is a very liberal amount of cheese and a very liberal amount of meat, okay? So let me finish this up, and I'll show you what the finished product's going to look like. We want it to look something like that. You can still see the cheese coming through. That way it can kind of bubble up through the meat and kind of spread it all out nice like that, okay? Okay, so the sausage is in. As you can see, it's more than a half a pound of fennel sausage. Sauce comes last, actually, on a Chicago deep dish. I've busted up the San Marzano tomatoes, so it kind of looks like a very thick tomato sauce. I'm letting all of the liquids drip to the end. You can see them down here, and all the good stuff's up here. So I'm gonna spoon out all the good stuff, and I'm just gonna layer it on, and not too much. Basically, you are trying to do about, I'd say, 3/4 of what a regular pizza, that your traditional pizza that you're used to, the sauce, about 3/4 of that is what you're gonna put on this pizza, because it's gonna cook down and you don't want it to get to be a saucy, liquidy mess. So hang tight, I'm gonna put this down and I'll show you the end product. Okay, we've got the sauce down. I'm gonna give you a feel for what this looks like, okay? Not too much sauce. We didn't go skimping on it. Just put a little bit of the juice, good amount of puree, and the chunked up tomatoes there. Now we're gonna put it into an oven, 425 preheated already, but I actually like to put my Romano on first. I don't know. I just like the look of it. I don't know if it has any effect on the taste or not. I'm gonna put more on later on anyways. But for some reason, I just like to put on some of that cheese before put it in the oven. So, oh yeah, that's definitely the right mix. Just gonna put, a little bit of a dusting here. Get it down, and we're gonna put it into the oven. Here we go. I'm going to go middle rack into the oven, 425, and we'll put the timer on for 30 minutes. That way we can come back and check it later, and we'll see if it needs 5 or. Okay, we just pulled this one out of the oven. This was 35, actually it was 30 minutes on 425, and we're about to take. Okay, and now we're going to do the unveiling with our trick pan that I talked about. We don't have to worry about taking out. We just flip the switch. And look at that. Nice and golden brown all the way around. I want to tip it too far because we want to dip the sauce right now. This needs to set for at least 15 minutes. Smells pretty darn good. Nice golden crust, buttery, looking good. Hang tight, we'll be cutting it in about 15 minutes. Okay, now we have got the deep dish out of the oven. We let it bake for 30 minutes on 425, and we've taken it out and we let it sit for 15 minutes, and it's set. As you can tell, the deep dish gremlins have attacked. Once they see that buttery crust, they just have to take a bite out of it. But no problem, we'll just turn around. You didn't see anything. All right, we're gonna cut. Just like a normal cut, just like any pizza. We're gonna do our best, try and get a nice even cut down the middle. And honestly, I'm not gonna serve this right now. I'm just cutting this, and I'm gonna let it set a little bit more. It's kind of like a pre-slice. But I'm doing that just to kind of get it to form, and at the same time, make my job easier later. So I'm going to cut this here on this one. And it's great about these pans. You can cut into them, really doesn't do too much damage. And if I can give you a feel for what the inside looks like. Look at that. I'm literally picking it out with my finger. Not stuck at all. Picking it out with my finger. Can you see in there? Look at that. All right. So we'll take some pictures of what it looks like on the inside once it's plated. I don't want to mess it up. It's still a little bit warm, maybe 1 or 2 minutes more. I should have waited, but I got anxious to smell it upstairs, had to come down. I'm going to plate it, and I'll give you the final photos and a taste test. Okay, so hopefully this focuses. We've plated it, and there you have it. Nice thick layer of cheese, the sausage, the San Marzano tomatoes, nice crust. I'll be honest, it's not a perfect crust. The taste is perfect, tiny bit thick. We'll work on that. Got to smush that dough real tight to the side of the pan. Got it almost perfect. I'd say we're 80% of the way to a perfect pie. And now, cracked pepper, Romano, and we'll have at it. So I'll tell you right now, this is great tasting pizza. We got a nice thick layer of the cheese, the blend. The sausage is excellent. It's nice and spicy because I put that cracked red pepper on top, as well as the Romano cheese. The dough is always a work in progress. This is some of the best tasting dough I've ever had. When you add in the corn oil instead of like olive oil, feel free to back off a little bit on that cup of cornmeal. You can maybe go 3/4 cup. But yeah, this is the best yet.